Stray Kids, a K-pop group that just seems to be fucking dominating the charts, man. I mean, like these guys, this is their second record this year with Maxident, and they just seem to not be able to miss right now, right?
Yeah, second release this year to go number one. Maxident's on track to go number one with around 100,000 units. Definitely uh, awesome to see big success in the West, which would make sense because JYP Entertainment has a distribution deal with Republic Records that has been extended to Stray Kids and ITZY. So it makes sense that we're seeing, as we've been talking about ad nauseum, more and more K-pop acts finding acceptance and then, in fact, success in the Western market. And Stray Kids have been kind of rapidly rising. I think for me, I hadn't been thinking about them all too much until we heard Felix, one of the 8 Stray Kids members. We heard Felix on his label mate Nyan's solo debut album earlier this summer on that song No Problem. I thought he was an awesome compliment on that song, and I really like that track in general. And I was like, you know what? I need to pay more attention to Stray Kids because I'm just sleeping because they're really popular.
Do you feel like Maxident kind of showed you why they're so popular?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. It's an EP. It's their ninth EP slash mini album. They've only been around since 2018, but that's 9 EPs and 2 full length albums. A lot of music, and this one is interesting. We kind of talked about this recently with Blackpink, where like short release, right? And then a bunch of these tracks, it's only some of the group, some of the members. They're not all full Stray Kids tracks. So that being said, I think there is a fair amount of that variety, that genre flipping, that switching up that we talked about recently with NCT 127, and I thought that was cool to hear. Um, they are pretty hip hop heavy,
Mhm.
and I do like that about them. And I think some of those moments are really strong. Production wise, I don't know if anything really wowed me per se on this one, but I definitely get it, and I'm looking forward to hearing more for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of genre hopping, and they really span from like really going for rock on something on like three Racha,
hmm
I guess. I don't know. I guess that's the song that was that. Is that the song I'm thinking of? Or was Super Bored? Now I'm forgetting
Now, I
which
don't
one
think it
was
was
the one.
Three Racha. Three Racha is more of like a Three Racha is pretty hard, but that's almost like a drill song specifically in terms of
Yeah,
rapping.
no, you're right. You're
But
right.
there was guitar popping up on this on I think it was "Give Me Your TMI."
Yes, yes. I'm sorry. That was the one
Yeah.
I was thinking of. Um, but that one is almost like too poppy to be rock,
hmm
Like, and that's the thing is, I feel like they never quite go that far. But there's some really like hard, like banging, like thumping production on this, which I think makes it feel a little bit harder than it actually comes across.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, because like some of these hooks, and some of the songs, I was a little bit like, huh, this feels almost like a little like childish at times. Like with Circus, it kind of has that like that. I think they actually like mimic that at one point, or
It
on one of
makes sense
them.
per the name.
Yeah, and on one of them, it might have been the first one. They actually like did like these other like noises that were like whoa, or like so. I was like, oh, this just feels young. And I think that's what I came away with is these guys feel like they're aiming towards like a younger fan, which
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense for these groups. But I wasn't super like drawn in by
Right. Yeah. Those Stray Kids, they're still kids at the end of the day.
it.
Uh, yeah. I think Case 143, the first song, the title track, the single, etc. I think it's pretty catchy, and it starts off like really hot with the rapping. But because they like genre mash, they kind of like switch up some of these songs where it's like this is like hard hip hop in the one sense, and then it's like immediately become like completely different pop. And as you said, almost more of a like younger leaning pop. I think of like NCT Dream comes to mind as like a younger guys trying to make younger like teen music. And I think Stray Kids, they seem to be really popular because of that genre mash, right? And like we've talked about the genre mash a lot, and I think that's what's really commendable about a lot like the release we're getting these days, right? It's like I mentioned NCT 127, but what about like ATs, right? Like that
Mhm.
record this year was all over the place in like this super maximalist way, and I guess Stray Kids on Maxident are trying to go for that. I just don't know if they don't quite commit to it as much as I would like. And it's an EP, it's a mini album. There's only so much
Right.
time, right? Um, I think to me, probably Three Racha stood out as my favorite track because that
Yeah.
is just three of the members on there, the guys who do most of the producing, and actually do like drill hip hop from on the K-pop side of things is pretty revelatory, just because you're not really hearing drill from the K-pop people, right?
Completely
And
agree.
I mean, it was pretty hard. I have to give it to him. Like I think in general, like the bar for rapping in K-pop these days has been raised. Like it's not nearly as corny as it used to be. So that
Yeah.
definitely counts for something.
No, I agree. Three Racho was a clear standout. The one I was thinking of was Can't Stop, as
Mm,
like the rock one. So yeah, I agree. Like that and Give Me Your TMI. Like they're so close to being like this like real rock sound, but they kind of cut it with this pop infused like energy.
right.
Um, yeah, like you said, this is a EP. They're not gonna be able to flesh out all their everything that they want to do perfectly on it, and that's okay. They're still like a fairly young group, like you mentioned, only formed I think 3 or 4 years ago. So
Right.
a lot of growth for them. I think more than anything, the fact that they can be putting out stuff that I think is very clearly not their best stuff and still like getting number one on the charts is like they're going to be in
Yeah.
contention for most popular K-pop group beyond BTS and Blackpink. So pretty good place to be.